I remember even like you were like beefing with like Paddy the Baddy.
Unsanitizer, boy! Fuck you!
Don't even compare me to that. Boom. We are on different levels and everyone can see that. He was
Trajectory as
very
well.
disrespectful to me, to my country, to all my people, and he just behaved like a idiot.
Who the f is Paddy Pimblett right now? Those explosive words from Ilia Topuria as he unleashes a verbal assault on his bitter rival. But that's not his only target. The undefeated Georgian-Spanish fighter has also sent a bone-chilling warning to Charles Oliveira. When I touch Oliveira's chin, it'll explode.
It's so powerful at 155. I'm gonna touch his chin and it will explode.
Welcome to UFC Fight News, and tonight we're breaking down the explosive build-up to UFC 317, where Topuria faces Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight championship on June 28th in Las Vegas. From devastating warnings to bitter rivalries, this is shaping up to be one of the most intense title fights of the year. Let's start with that spine-chilling warning from Ilia Topuria. The former featherweight champion is making his lightweight debut against Charles Oliveira, and he's never sounded more confident or more dangerous. I feel so powerful at 155 pounds that when I touch Oliveira's chin, it'll explode. This isn't just trash talk. Topuria has backed up every bold prediction he's made. Remember, this is the man who knocked out Alexander Volkanovski to win the featherweight title, then followed it up by sleeping Max Holloway in his first defense. Now, moving up to lightweight, he claims he feels even more powerful. Topuria vacated his featherweight belt after struggling with the brutal weight cuts, saying he was suffering to make 145 pounds. At 155, he's unleashed, and that should terrify anyone standing across from him. The 28-year-old maintains his perfect 16-0 record and has finished opponents in devastating fashion, 6 by knockout, 8 by submission. He's not just a one-dimensional striker. He's a complete mixed martial artist who can end fights anywhere, anytime. But Charles Oliveira isn't the only fighter on Topuria's mind. In a recent explosive interview, El Matador went scorched earth on Liverpool's Paddy Pimblett, and the hatred is real. Who the f is Paddy Pimblett right now? Honestly, if I could choose a fight, I would fight him because I hate him. He's a pain in the ass.
Bueno, está Paddy, por ejemplo.
Él es otro hipócrita, yo te lo digo. Yo recuerdo, una vez compartimos una rueda de prensa y él me dijo una cosa que era, mira, yo estoy peleando en el main card, tú estás peleando en los preliminares, tipo una bobada así. Y yo ahora me pregunto, yo tengo 2 cinturones, ¿tú dónde estás? ¿Sabes? ¿Quién es Paddy Pimblett ahora mismo y por qué se tendría que merecer ahora mismo pelear conmigo? La verdad que si pudiera yo elegir una pelea, pelearía con él porque cae fatal, la verdad. Cae como el culo. Y a mí me encantaría regalarle ese combate a todos los fanáticos porque desde hace mucho tiempo yo creo que dentro de la UFC no se ve una pelea de verdad. 2 personas que de verdad se quieren pegar. Y qué mejor que pegarse delante de todo el mundo y regalarles un espectáculo. Yo sé lo que va a pasar y no va a ser ningún bien para él.
¿Qué va a pasar?
Lo que ha pasado con todos.
This feud dates back to March 2022 at UFC London, where the two nearly came to blows at the Fighter Hotel. Topuria remembers Pimblett's disrespectful comments about being on the main card, while Topuria was relegated to the prelims. How times have changed. Topuria has since captured UFC gold and is fighting for another title, while Pimblett is ranked number 8 in the lightweight division. The Georgian-Spanish fighter didn't hold back. I remember we shared a press conference once and he said something like, "I'm fighting on the main card and you're on the prelims." Now I'm thinking, I have 2 belts, where are you? Pimblett has been surging up the rankings with a perfect 7-0 UFC record, most recently dominating Michael Chandler at UFC 314. He's positioned himself as a potential future title challenger, but Topuria's move to lightweight puts this grudge match squarely on the table. Topuria promises fans something special. I'd love to give that fight to the fans. For a long time, I believe that in the UFC, you haven't seen a real fight. Two people who want to fight each other. Charles Oliveira isn't taking Topuria's threats lying down. The Brazilian veteran has fired back, calling Topuria's comments very disrespectful and warning that he has firepower in his wrists. He's just trying to dig out a fight for himself. He's saying a lot of crap. I respect his fights, but he's being very disrespectful now. Oliveira brings 15 years of UFC experience to this fight, along with a record-setting 16 submission victories in the promotion. The 35-year-old former champion lost his belt to Islam Makhachev in 2022, but has bounced back with impressive wins over Beneil Dariush and Michael Chandler. This is personal for Dobronx. He expected a direct rematch with Makhachev for the title, but when the Russian champion vacated to move up to welterweight, Oliveira found himself matched against the rising star from featherweight. Despite the disrespect, Oliveira remains focused on one thing. Bottom line is, it all comes down to the title. We are working hard on that target date. It would be great to see me on Fight Week soon. In a surprising twist, Topuria found inspiration from an unexpected source, tennis superstar Carlos Alcaraz. After Alcaraz's incredible comeback victory at the French Open, winning from 2 sets down in an epic 5-hour battle, Topuria sent a 7-word message that speaks volumes about his mindset: idol, the example of never giving up. This shows the mentality Topuria brings to UFC 317. Like his Spanish compatriot Alcaraz, Topuria represents a new generation of champions who refuse to accept defeat. The parallels are striking. Both are young, both are undefeated in their championship runs, and both embody the fighting spirit of Spain. Topuria, who was born in Germany to Georgian parents but considers his heart Spanish, has become Spain's biggest MMA star. He's carrying that championship DNA into the lightweight division where he believes destiny awaits. The stakes at UFC 317 couldn't be higher. Topuria has the chance to become a 2-division champion, joining an elite group of fighters who have held titles in multiple weight classes. For Oliveira, it's redemption, a chance to reclaim lightweight gold and cement his legacy as one of the division's greatest champions. But looming in the background are other contenders. Justin Gaethje's manager has threatened that the highlight will retire if he doesn't get the next title shot. Arman Tsarukyan is working his way back after pulling out of his scheduled fight with Makhachev, and of course, there's that simmering rivalry with Paddy Pimblett waiting to explode. June 28th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, UFC 317 promises to deliver fireworks. Ilia Topuria's explosive warnings, Charles Oliveira's veteran savvy, and the backdrop of bitter rivalries make this one of the most anticipated title fights of the year. Will Topuria's prediction come true? Will Oliveira's chin literally explode under the power of El Matador? One thing's for certain, this fight will be must-see television. Don't miss UFC 317 on June 28th, and keep it locked to UFC Fight News for all the latest updates.
Everybody reaches a sell-by date, don't they? Everybody's got a time limit. He's reached it, and we move on.
I reckon anyone else in that position would have been stripped. I was talking to Adam Cattle about it the other week.
Yeah,
like,
seen it.
He should be stripped now.
It obviously was a bit annoying at the time, but it's all in the past now. We're moving forward. Everything's good. We can get fighting again, and I just want to get fighting, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Must be fucking sick of getting asked about that, you know.
It's yeah, it's not the best. You know what? It's better now because I do know what's going on a little bit, and I am going to fight soon, so that's nice. But for like the last kind of 6 months, I've just not known what's going on. Do you know what the worst bit is? Is like, you know this yourself. It's like money, fame, titles, rankings, all that aside, I just love fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
I just like fighting people. That's what I got into it for. I didn't get into it for anything else. All the other stuff is just like nice to have on top. I want to be the best fighter I can be. I love it. I'm in the gym every day. I just want to fight. That's been taken away from me for like nearly a year now. And that's got nothing to do with me, which is It's a bit frustrating, to be honest, but we are nearly over it now, which is good.
Tom Aspinall has just sent a crystal clear warning message to Jon Jones, and it's not what you'd expect from the usually reserved British champion. In a recent candid interview with fellow UFC star Paddy Pimblett, Aspinall dropped some bombshell revelations about the Jon Jones situation, his future plans, and why he believes the heavyweight division has been held hostage for far too long.
Didn't think they'd make Islam vacate. But if you're making Islam vacate, Jones needs to be stripped. You know what I mean? If you're making Islam vacate after 4 defences, fighting people on short notice, you should let him try and be double champ.
We're also diving deep into Paddy Pimblett's explosive comments about Jones, Dana White's latest statements on the heavyweight unification saga, and what this all means for the future of the division. Stick around because this story has more twists than a Jon Jones fight contract negotiation. Let's start with the headline that's got everyone talking. Tom Aspinall, the interim heavyweight champion who's been waiting 577 days for his shot at undisputed gold, has finally had enough of the Jon Jones circus. In a training session video with Paddy Pimblett, Aspinall delivered what can only be described as a warning shot to Jones. But here's the thing, it wasn't delivered with anger or frustration. Instead, Aspinall's message was cold, calculated, and perhaps more devastating because of its matter-of-fact delivery.
Best life, mate, in Thailand, so everybody reaches a sell-by date, don't they? Everybody's got a time limit. He's reached it, and we move on.
Everybody reaches their sell-by date, don't they? Everybody's got a time limit, he's reached it, and we move on. That's not just trash talk, folks. That's a man who's moved past caring about Jon Jones and is ready to claim what he believes is rightfully his. Aspinall continued by saying the situation is now in the past and he's excited to fight again. But the most revealing part? Aspinall confirmed he's going to fight soon, and it sounds like it won't be against Jones. This suggests the UFC is finally ready to move forward without their most problematic champion.
Dana White says I'm his man. We love that. I'm going to go and prove that pretty soon, so it's coming.
If Aspinall's comments were a surgical strike, Paddy Pimblett's were a full-scale assault. The Liverpool lightweight didn't hold back when discussing Jon Jones during their training session. Pimblett started by declaring Aspinall as the best heavyweight in the world, especially the best active heavyweight in the world, a not-so-subtle dig at Jones's inactivity. But he didn't stop there. I reckon anyone else in that position would have been stripped. He should be stripped now. This is significant because it's coming from one of the UFC's biggest current stars. Pimblett has a massive following and isn't known for creating unnecessary controversy. When he speaks out like this, people listen. But perhaps most damning was Pimblett's assessment of Jones's impact on the sport. The fact he's not stepping up and fighting you, he's let the whole MMA fan base down. And it's even more in that case when you're the reigning heavyweight champion of the world and you've got someone holding interim.
The fact he's not stepping up and fighting, yet he's let the whole MMA fan base down.
I couldn't have somebody else saying that they're going to beat me and not at least fight them. And then if I lose, at least I tried my best.
And it's even more in that case when you're the reigning heavyweight champion of the world and you've got someone holding...
It is crazy.
Heavyweight
it is a
crazy
situation, but there's a lot of politics in there in the UFC at the top levels, and it's just like out of my hands, so there's nothing I can really...
This isn't just criticism from a fellow fighter. This is a public indictment of Jones's behavior from someone who represents the voice of the fans. Now, here's where things get really interesting. UFC President Dana White made some revealing comments after UFC 316 that might have exposed more than he intended. White confirmed that Jon Jones did initially agree to fight Tom Aspinall, stating, Jon Jones agreed to do the fight. Jon Jones was offered the deal and accepted the deal.
To clarify, you said that Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes?
Jon agreed to fight Tom?
Is that what you just said there? Before, like on the last answer, you said...
Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes.
So but he hasn't signed a contract or anything.
Right. Yeah.
So
I mean, you guys have heard me for the last however long. I said, I guarantee you this fight's going to happen. This fight's going to happen. Fight's going to happen. You guys told me the crazy shit that was going on Instagram and all these other places. But yes, I've been saying Jon is going to fight Tom.
There were some rumors out there that you guys had offered him his fuck you money and he turned it down.
Unless you hear it come from here or we put out a press release, don't believe any of this bullshit. But yes, Jon agreed to fight Tom. Fact.
But here's the kicker. White also compared Jones to Anderson Silva in terms of how difficult he is to negotiate with. That's not exactly a compliment when you consider Silva's later career controversy. Multiple reports now suggest that Jones accepted the fight verbally, but has since gone back on his word, admitting to the UFC that he's no longer interested in fighting Aspinall. Instead, rumors are swirling that Jones is eyeing a lucrative bout with Francis Ngannou.
It was kind of crazy how much interest John showed in the Francis Ngannou fight. Like, there was some tweets going back and forth. What would happen if he came to you and says, like, I'll fight, but I won't fight Aspinall, I would fight Ngannou? Would you even be interested in that or no?
I don't have Ngannou under contract, and Aspinall's the guy.
Right. If you were put in the position, would you maybe try to get Ngannou back under contract or no?
Probably not.
This creates a massive problem for the UFC. How do you handle a champion who won't fight the #1 contender, but is willing to fight for bigger paydays elsewhere? It's a situation that's never been handled well in combat sports history. Tom Aspinall gave us rare insight into the behind-the-scenes politics that have kept him in limbo for nearly a year. In his conversation with Pimblett, Aspinall revealed his frustration with the situation. Money, fame, ranking, titles. I just like fighting. That's what I got into MMA for. That's been taken away from me for nearly a year now, and it's got nothing to do with me, which is a bit frustrating, to be honest.
But for like the last kind of 6 months, I've just not known what's going on. Do you know what the worst bit is like, you know this yourself, it's like money, fame, titles, rankings, all that aside, I just love fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
I just like fighting people. That's what I got into it for. I didn't get into it for anything else. All the other stuff is just like nice to have on top. I want to be the best fighter I can be. I love it. I'm in the gym every day. I just want to fight. That's been taken away from me for like nearly a year now, and that's got nothing to do with me, which is, it's a bit frustrating.
This highlights a fundamental problem in modern MMA, when politics and money supersede competition and merit. Aspinall has been the interim champion for over 18 months, has defended his title, and has been actively campaigning for the unification bout. Yet he's been held hostage by Jon Jones's indecision. Aspinall also touched on the reality of top-level UFC politics. There's a lot of politics in the UFC at the top levels. It's out of my hands, so there's nothing really else I can do about it.
It is a crazy situation, but there's a lot of politics isn't there in the UFC at the top levels, and it's just like out of my hands, so there's nothing I can really...
But here's what's changed. It sounds like Aspinall is no longer waiting. Reports suggest he'll be fighting Cyril Gane for the undisputed title, with Jones potentially vacating the belt. This heavyweight drama has given us everything: retirement fakeouts, contract negotiations gone wrong, and now public call-outs from fellow fighters. But most importantly, it might have given us clarity on the division's future. Tom Aspinall's warning to Jon Jones wasn't really a warning at all. It was a farewell. The interim champion is done waiting, done playing politics, and ready to claim his throne with or without Jones. We'll continue following this story as it develops. Make sure to subscribe for all the latest MMA news and analysis, and let us know in the comments, do you think Jon Jones should be stripped of the heavyweight title?
To clarify, you said that John agreed to fight Tom, yes?
John agreed to fight Tom?
Is that what you just said there? Before, like on the last answer, you said...
John agreed to fight Tom, yes.
So but he hasn't signed a contract or anything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you guys have heard me for the last however long. I said, I guarantee you this fight's going to happen. This fight's going to happen. Fight's going to happen. You guys told me the crazy shit that was going on Instagram and all these other places. But yes, I've been saying John is going to fight Tom.
So there's some rumors out there that you guys had offered him his fuck you money and he turned it down.
Unless you hear it come from here or we put out a press release, don't believe any of this bullshit. But yes, John agreed to fight Tom. Fact.
UFC President Dana White has just delivered a crystal clear warning message to heavyweight champion Jon Jones, and the implications could reshape the entire division. We're talking about the most anticipated heavyweight title fight in UFC history, Jones versus Tom Aspinall, and whether it will actually happen or if we're witnessing the end of an era. Stay tuned as we break down White's latest statements, analyze what this means for both fighters, and explore the growing controversy that has over 200,000 fans demanding action.
Yeah. And to go back to the thing on John Jones, did you see the petition online from the fans?
Yeah.
What did you just make of that?
Every human on earth was DMing it to me, and yeah, I saw it.
I mean, I know you say you always listen to the fans and give the fans what they want. I'm just curious what you make of that.
How many fans are there worldwide now? Like, what's the number? It's like 400 million or something like that. Yeah, 130,000 people want to see him stripped.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not enough.
I'm not saying that. It's kind of fucking silly.